Morning. So this video could get a little bit crazy, but I've got so much going on this week, and I'll tell you what I'm doing and some of the stuff that I'll show later in this video and some upcoming videos. But basically, let's talk about the different fertilizers, the different release types, and why this time of year I do not like to use anything organic like a biosolid. We'll talk about that and the different fertilizers and why there's different releases and different strengths. So anyways, here we go. This is annual rye, and then there is some actual perennial rye mixed in here still. Underneath here is common Bermuda. And yes, I started fertilizing in February because it's growing, and that's when you fertilize. You fertilize your lawn when it's growing. So I did put down, and this is so thick and crazy. Eventually we'll cut this down when the Bermuda starts to come out. There's common Bermuda, and if you don't have your pre-emergent down, get your pre-emergent down now. Now I link to whatever I talk about. I will put links to all of our product stuff that we talk about in the description below. I put one link so I don't have to list everything, and it'll be on one page. You got it? A lot of people get confused. So it's one link, it'll take you to the website, and then you'll see a whole bunch of products and you can choose whatever you want. Okay, so let's talk. Right now it's 35 degrees, and you can see I've got sunscreen on my nose and I got a big hat because what's been happening is what happens in March, where you start off at 35 degrees and you end up at 74 and you're up there in a t-shirt sweating, and that's what's been going on the past couple of weeks. Why do you fly over when I'm trying to make a video? So this time of year, let me start off by saying why I do not like organics this time of year, or natural or biosolids. And if you actually look at some of the labels on these things, they'll even tell you that it's just, I'm not picking on Milorganite, but just Milorganite, it'll actually tell you on the label that it doesn't perform as well in cooler temperatures. And why is that? It's because anything that's organic has to go through a digestive process. It has to break down for it to release nutrients. And so when you have these colder temperatures, you have a much lower active biology going on. So the microbes and fungi are very much lower. So that's why, like a product like Dirt Booster, I love to put Dirt Booster on my lawn. It's clean, it has humichar inside of it, it has mycorrhizal fungi inside of it. But I'm not going to put it on until I start to get constantly touching that 80 degrees. That's when you'll start to get that real activity going on. So don't put down anything natural or organic until you start to touch right about that high 70s, close to 80 degrees on a constant basis. You have to put out a synthetic fertilizer because it's being top applied. Now, up in our gardens, we don't use any synthetic fertilizers. All we do is natural compost, Dirt Booster. We haven't used fertilizer up in our gardens for over 4 years. And why is that? It's because we're putting it deep into the soil. So we're down 8, 12, 14 inches deep, where it's a little bit warmer and there is some activity down there. Same thing with a compost pile. You build up a compost pile. My compost piles are getting up to 150 degrees, but that's because it's a big pile. When you put something down top applied, it's a topical treatment, and you don't want to do that until your temperature warms up. All right, so let's talk real quickly about the different fertilizers and why they're developed. Let's start with an instant release. An instant release would be something like a spray. So Lawn Alive is going to be coming out in probably the next 6 weeks or so. Now, Lawn Alive is a very mild spray, but it has mycorrhizal fungi. So that's why it's not that big of a deal that it's not out right now, because I want the temperatures to come up. I'll let you guys know when it's available, but a spray would be instant. Green Shocker. Green Shocker looks like black salt. It's extremely fine. I think it's a 7:1:2 ratio. It's very mild. You put it out very lightly. As soon as water touches it, it turns into liquid and it goes into your soil. Water it in, and really within 3 or 4 days, you can actually see a stimulated result with that. I mean, it's that quick. So Green Shocker was specifically developed to be something that's an instant mild release. And you can use that any time of year. You can use that spring, summer, fall, it doesn't matter. Because it's mild, it's a great summer fertilizer, believe it or not. Now, DGL, Dark Green Lawn. DGL is basically all fast release nitrogen. Now, it's not instant release, it's a fast release nitrogen, which means that it has to have water on it several times before it starts to quote unquote melt and break down and get into your lawn. So that type of response you'll see typically in 7 to 10 days. You'll start to see a darkening up depending on the rain and water that you put to it. PGF Complete. PGF Complete, it's sort of a mix of a fast and slow release, but it's a slow release fertilizer. It's balanced. The number one ratio that every agronomist will tell you is that any plant living is basically a 4:1:2 ratio, which is 16:4:8, and that's what PGF Complete is. It's a balanced maintenance fertilizer, so it's 16:4:8. It's very fine particle. You can put it out in light coats because we don't want to promote the overuse of fertilizers. So PGF Complete, that's a slow release fertilizer. Got it? So you've got instant, you've got fast, and then you've got a slow release. Then you've got your naturals and organics. But I do not like anything organic or natural this time of year. I just don't feel it's worth it. It's going to sit on top of your lawn and may cause actual problems. So hold off, just use the light synthetic fertilizer. So what do we got going on today? Jesse's coming out the next couple of weeks helping me out here. He's painting the barn. We painted that barn when we first bought this place. The first year I just sprayed it red, but what I did was I got the same color, which is Sherwin-Williams fireweed, as the house. And so I'm having him, when he paints it, he's painting it right now, he's going to paint the barn and the shipping container to match the house, and it's looking great. It looks absolutely gorgeous. He's going to clean up some areas on it, and there are some areas I didn't get to paint. He's going to paint that whole thing. What else is next? Next, we are planning the second or expansion of our chicken production out here. We're going to be building a little bit smaller but secondary chicken coop out here, and I'll do a video on this. There is a shortage of baby chicks, female baby chicks. I guess the egg shortage has driven a lot of people to start to get into the backyard chicken things, because I went to my hatchery that I normally go to, and I went to look for baby female chicks. Completely sold out almost all the way through the summer. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had to go to another hatchery, and I booked, I think I booked in 15 birds, mixed birds over there, but they're not going to ship till July. I mean, that's how far out. It's getting kind of crazy. But Jesse, and he's got a friend that's going to help him. We're going to build a secondary coop with some improvements and minor changes from the other coop. It was a good learning experience. I kept expanding and adding, and I'm going to build a coop up there, and I'll put that on video for you guys. Today I'm going to run up here. Yesterday I jumped on the Toro, by the way, and I cut this back and I cut this over here. Everything's just solid green, man. We've got this rain coming in, temperatures in the 70s. Look at that. Is that crazy or what? But even this area back over here, which is just a natural area, that's all nice and green. This over here is nice and green. The pond front, all of it is just popping green. So spring is coming, even though we may get a cold front move in. What are you doing, Doc? Quite honestly, I am running around here like a chicken with my head cut off. We're in the final stage of Lawn Alive formulation, getting ready to release it to you guys, hopefully within a month. So I've got to spray, I'm going to spray 2 testing strips out here, and then I'm going to go up and I'm going to spray some on some new compost piles that we're making. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a stripe where I know here and over here. And then we'll give it a couple days. We'll take a look at it. So we're going to go even with this second post here. All right, so I think what I can do today, I'm not doing sort of deep bedding in here right now. I'm doing moderate bedding. And I'm trying to accumulate more of a ratio chicken poo to straw and wood chips. So I'm trying to get this a little bit higher and heavier, and it's about at that point. So I'm only putting about 1.5 inches of material down here. really to get a lot of that poo in here so that I can put it in the compost pile. Okay, so I'm getting ready to rework one of these compost piles, but I want to show you evidence of how using things like our super compost, when we make these dirt booster piles, without fertilizers, can add an extreme amount of nutrients to your soil. So I'm going to put up some soil tests real quick. First of all, I labeled, if you watch, I was doing soil testing out here in one of my last videos. This is F1, this is F2, and that's F3. Pretty much all the same results. Actually, my pH is actually pretty good. They're all about 6.5, 6.8. But all those fields have a really high spike. They have one high spike, and that's calcium. And that's simply because of the sedimentary rock we have around here that just over thousands of years has degraded and washed, and that puts a lot of calcium in here. So that's just kind of natural what we expect. But this was the exact same as those over here. So what we've done over a 2-year period is we've made our super compost piles using Dirt Booster and put it into the soil, and that's it. Now, before I did anything, I hadn't touched these this year. I went to one of my rows and I took a scoop with a shovel. I put it in a sample bag and I sent it off to Clemson University. And I want you to see the results here. The results being that all of the nutrients are basically showing way off the chart. So again, with adding no fertilizers, just this compost, naturally grown, I have a crap load of nutrients inside this soil. Now that's from last year. I hadn't even touched it this year. Now, just last week we came out here and redid these rows. But also, what also bumped up, most of my fields have a CEC, the cation exchange capacity. They're usually about a 10 out here. They're not that great. These rows are up to a 17, which is really good. So overall, everything about it, the organic matter is very high. CECs for our area, high. Nutrients, very high. So without fertilizers, yes, you can do it. All right, Jesse's here painting, but man, sweatshirts are off. It's crazy, dude. 35 degrees this morning. I was cold. Now I'm starting to sweat. So what I've done, thankfully, see that big tub with wheels? That fits perfectly right up against this chicken house. And then what I can do is I can go in here and I take all these shavings out, and then I'll move them over to the compost pile. But I'm not doing real deep bedding. I said 1.5 inches maybe. And that's it, because I really want a high concentration of poo to shavings. These are the alfalfa pellets. All right. I've been up since 5 a.m., man. All right, so this is Lawn Alive. This is the 20-to-1 ratio, which is, I pretty much use the 20-to-1 ratio pretty much on everything now. It has a little bit of nitrogen, 50% fast, 50% slow, and 4 types of mycorrhizal fungi inside of it, the spores. And when I spray this on here, the nitrogen will be sucked up by these wood chips like that. The wood chips have to have nitrogen to go through that decomposition process. And that's why we put so much. Now, the stuff I'm putting on here is pretty cheap. The 50-pound bag of alfalfa pellets is 17 bucks. The layer feed is like 16 bucks, those pellets. So it's cheap. The only thing that's a little more expensive is going to be the dirt booster, and that's why I only put about half a bag on here. I will wait to put dirt booster on right before I put it on the garden. That's what I've learned. But I'm telling you, you wait and see this pile. I'll show you in the next video, I guess, maybe in the morning. This thing will be fired up instantly. I did a little bit of spray here. I did a little bit of lawn alive spray, and then I just sprayed with water. One thing you have to understand is that compost piles have to have oxygen, moisture, and then they need microbes, and they need some kind of clean organic matter, low carbon to nitrogen ratio. If you get that, you'll fire them up. But if you have a compost pile that dries out, it's pretty much going to go pretty much stagnant, dormant. So when we turn these, sometimes what I'll do is, if I know I got a real big rain coming in, I'll grab the tractor and I'll just flatten these out, let the rain fall, then come back out and repile it. That works too. So. Morning. So it's the next morning. Here's what I want you to understand. If you get confused about fertilizers, just remember, lawn care is really simple. Put down a pre-emergent early spring, put down your fertilizer, PGF complete, make sure your lawn gets water, your lawn will be fine. Now, are there a bunch of other steps you can do to improve your lawn health and improve your soil health? Yes. That's where all these options come in. Are there different fertilizers, like different releases and different strengths, so you can use that and manipulate that? So maybe next week you've got a family event happening at your house and you want your lawn to look a little bit better. Put down a light coat of green shocker, water, and within about 3 days that stuff will darken up, start to really grow, but without having to put down more fertilizer. Like, let's say it's getting hot, it's July, you can do that. Again, organics in the garden, this is looking fantastic, people. We brought in topsoil. We wanted to raise these rows up because of the drainage issues we have here. We've raised the rows up, we put compost and dirt booster, we tilled it, we piled it up, and I'm truly shocked. The dirt from last year, these rows from last year, before we did anything, all of those nutrients that are still in here. Now, nitrogen, the majority of soil test places will not test for nitrogen because it's so volatile. There are a few that do true nitrogen testing, but if they're true nitrogen testing, you're actually going to send a frozen sample to them, because by the time they get the soil sample, they dry it out, they prepare it, the nitrogen will basically be gone. That's how volatile it is. So that's why we come out and we put fresh compost on this. These compost piles, especially with like chicken poo and processed manure, you can actually smell what smells like ammonia, and that's kind of what nitrogen forming. So like I said, no fertilizers in 4 years. This is the location of the new chicken house, and one of the mistakes that I made on that chicken house was that I didn't consider heavy rains and floods. So everything goes down this way, and at one point that chicken house was 3 inches of water. We put in a drainage system, but I really wish what I had done, if you are going to build a chicken house, you can see I'm a good 12 inches up here, and I've put a crown on it. That's where this is going to go. That chicken run down there, the inside run is like 12 by 32. This one's going to be 10 by 20. That holds 30 birds. This one's only going to hold 10 to 15 different breeds. I'm going to steal a little bit of this run, not much, and allow them to go into here. Will I let the two breeds intermingle? And I don't know, dude. We have a lot of society issues going on when we start to do that. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point. So here's my compost pile, and I can tell already, I went and opened this up a little bit, and I can tell that there's just not enough moisture in here. It's starting to get warm. If I dig down deep on this, I'll probably feel it getting up to about 90 degrees or so. But I definitely need some more water. You definitely, if it feels dry to you, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have that good stuff going on. You don't want it muddy, but you just don't want it to feel dry. So I think I actually need to come out and put a little more water on this. But I think my dirt booster is coming in today. I might spread this out, put a little dirt booster and water on it and repile it. But that, in about 4 to 6 weeks, will be ready. We will top dress our rows in there with that. So I showed you a picture of what this thing looked like when we bought it. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to salvage this thing. It just looked like it needed to be torn down. But we got in there, we did work. We put some new roofing panels on this. And then I sprayed it, and then Jesse came out and he hit it again. And look at that. Doesn't that look great? It's amazing, man, what you do if you just slow down and take care of a few things. Okay, the shipping container. I had Jesse go ahead and spray the whole shipping container. Same color. Now this is fireweed, which is the same color as the house. So I had him spray the shipping container because, oh, it looks so much better. A family friend of mine knows an artist, a local artist who does, she's really good. She does more contemporary art, but she does a lot of murals. And what I'm thinking about is maybe down here, like on this corner over here, put a couple corn stalks, maybe a sunflower seed, and then a chicken right in here. Wouldn't that be cool? That would just look so cool. But rather than an old, ugly, rusting shipping container, we'll have something that's actually pretty cool. I'll probably give her pretty much license to do whatever she wants on here, I think. Just tell her to go crazy. Maybe, and I'll put it on video for you guys, so make sure you hit subscribe and you turn on your bell, because you will not get notified of that video when it goes up if you don't have your bell on, I guarantee it. But see, a lot of this down here where it's dark and red now, a lot of this was just raw wood, so I'm happy. Anyways, guys, a lot more videos coming out. I'm doing the best I can. It's busy, busy, busy. Doc.